Day 2 of the Royal Ascot is here, and once again the Prince of Wales was leading the royal entourage in the absence of Her Majesty the Queen. Accompanied by the gorgeously dressed wife, the Duchess of Cornwall, in the first carriage, the royal couple was joined by Vice Admiral Sir Tony Johnstone Burt. The Royal Ascot certainly lives up to its official motto like nowhere else. A major event on the British social calendar since its founding by Queen Anne in 1711, the annual race meeting, which occurs each June at the Ascot Racecourse in Berkshire, England, remains a heady mix of pomp, tradition, fashion, class distinction, and of course sport. Usually it's the Queen who leads the royal family in the first carriage, but due to her health and mobility issues, the 96 years old Queen has decided not to attend the races yesterday and today. An interesting observation made by the royal community on Twitter was that both yesterday and today a seat in the first carriage was left vacant. It is being reported that in the Queen's honor, one seat is left vacant in the first carriage, otherwise all the carriages usually have 4 occupants. Following Charles and Camilla were the Earl and Countess of Essex, with Lord and Lady Mowley in the second carriage. The third carriage had Princess Alexandra, the Countess Mountbatten of Burma, with Princess Beatrice and her husband Eduardo Mapelli Mozzi. The royal family's carriage procession arrived amid the cheers from a packed parade ring. Royal Ascot is a permanent fixture on the British royal family's June calendar. The Queen has attended all 5 days of the horse racing event since 1953. The procession starts from the Windsor Castle to the Ascot Racecourse in horse-drawn landaus. The royal family and their guests spend all the day in the royal enclosure watching various races and observing stakes. Just over a week after the Platinum Jubilee celebrations ended, members of the royal family appeared in high spirits, with many taking part in the carriage procession before greeting one another in the warm summer sunshine at the racecourse. Royal Ascot showed it has firmly rediscovered its pre-pandemic glamour when it opened its gates yesterday, with spectators donning high fashion finery and some show-stopping millinery. And day 2 of the British Summer Society's favourites saw a similarly bold couture catwalk of the daring outfits, as racegoers appearing to be taking this year's more relaxed dress code in the main spectators' enclosure to the latter. Men are required to wear a full morning suit with a waistcoat and either a black or grey top hat at all times. Only black shoes are allowed, and in an affront to the current vogue for bare ankles, socks are mandatory. Only last year, for the first very time in Royal Ascot's history, when the temperatures soared into the 90s, were men allowed to remove their coats and hats. Otherwise, hats must remain on the heads except within a restaurant, a private box, an enclosed terrace, and a few other designated areas. Beyond the royal enclosure, each section has its own set of senatorial guidelines. If the royal enclosure is the first class, then business class would be the Queen Anne's enclosure. There, men must wear a suit, a tie, and women are asked to wear tasteful dresses and a hat. Premium economy would be the village enclosure with the same dress code as the Queen Anne's enclosure. The Windsor enclosure is the most relaxed with no dress code at all. The Royal Ascot is definitely the perfect mixture of British traditions, aristocratic sports, and fashion world. We will be back with more. Stay tuned.